Now already I kind of enjoy the background music, I guess, seeing how connected that is to that device. Yes, the closer that I am, I guess we can be up real close and of course have a conversation. We can be ASMR. You know, that's what I sort of see that on YouTube, where they come up with all these sort of sounds and stuff. So my brain's less rigid at the moment. You know, had a workout this morning, didn't sleep last night. If I had my phone, I probably would tell you today's date, but it's going to be in the description, or specifically the title of this video as well. So there could be one channel on YouTube where where there is going to be some form of context, where you're going to give relevant context and sort of discussing on what you want your viewer to know, or what you want the other person to know. If you want the other person to know in the conversation, if you want your viewer to know about something that you are trying to talk about specifically. So I'm more concerned with Anki. There's all these learning things, materials. Like you can learn with Anki, you can learn with the Feynman technique. Okay, it could be us in a bush, mate. We could be out in a bush right now having a conversation. To me, the numbers that you try to win the lottery. So there was a YouTuber. His name was he's a bodybuilder. Lee Priest talked about Set for Life, because in one of his videos on Facebook, he talked about how he was going homeless, so he couldn't afford to rent. So basically, he's said in some of his videos that he sold trophies. So look, I can also tell you some search tags. You can go on YouTube and you can search. Maybe look at TikTok AMSR. You type that specific title because I said so. You see what I mean? So the use of Bandicam records without, instead of clicking on the exact video, that's going to buy you some time, because it's in order to go back to it, because there's so many other videos that click and download. That's 1 second on download, 3 seconds on the download, 5 seconds on the download, and on the other video, and you go through 50 videos. So that's the amount of seconds and time on the actual rate itself. Now, sort of the gist of getting that thought again, you know, I was able to think about my intermittent fasting experience, doing it in a very safe manner. Still recording. I don't know if that was an automatic screenshot. You know, I want to use one for taking photos. You know, maybe it's the D7, whatever. You know, one's for video. You know, I changed the lenses, right? Because obviously there could be better lenses. I'm surprised, because I was thinking to just not be in it for this I was like this. For this I was not in it for this type of camera compared to my Sony Handycam, but this camera, Nikon D7000, the lenses that I have, I don't know which type of lens it is. I'll probably have to list that to the description. Let's try and look at it. Yeah. And you know, let's get distracted. Let's say that it's what creates another thing and creates that, right? So I'll read a book, I'll read a bodybuilding book, context, and I'll talk about it. I've tried in all the other videos, you know, maybe, no, this one's, I probably am clarifying on this one, you know, maybe there were situations where it was too hot, too busy, the environment, it was too distracting, it was, so, and then you're able to make it more clear, where if you wake up at this time, so it's about 24 hours in a day, you need to be able to look at the time that you explore. You can set yourself this schedule basically, and you need that time to be able to fire up a few things. So by you existing in the environment within that time, within involving the environmental influence among you, that is really to do with the, so you know, there's all these questions about, okay, so I sort of get a glance that we're receiving this energy. It's the energy that's being passed off to a way of birds just moving in a direction, and they just get on the tree. They moved like that. They moved like that to into a tree. Right? It's the same. Like, I used to wake up to the exact same. Into tonight's Radio Live podcast, you're listening to the very best 65. Into tonight's Nikon Pass 65. So I'm not relying on caffeine for that type of energy. Into tonight's Radio Live, calm, more calm, too tense. So a bit of radio testing, and then I went on the microphone, try to talk about some things. It's a lot different. It is definitely different. You're using Bandicam, going through that, as opposed to you holding a book here and say, look, I've read this book. This book is about, right? Whereas you read each paragraph and then you can explain it to the camera. You can then rewatch it and you can then annotate. You can then put yourself on this test. And basically, it's a test where you are assessed by yourself, because you're watching it and you're seeing what sort of, like, the exercises that you can list on a daily basis and talk about it. Landmine rows, okay, how should I position my feet? Okay, camera set on, I'm going to position my feet. So obviously we're not going to do it now, but then the energy is telling us. So okay, approximate that arm's length. Maybe I didn't be able to capture the angle. I must have moved too quickly. Like, you're trying to put you in what puts you in that position. Talk about issues. Yeah, so it is going to be that work starts at, you wake up at 3, do this, and when you come back at work, it's hot, right? These days it's been kind of raining a lot, and by the weather you can tell that the weather sort of changes and is really the way it is sometimes. You know, I think it'd be nice to have some long pants sometimes when I go out. I should actually plan it a little bit more. Yeah, so you know, you are in an environment where, you know, you can sit down, you can talk, bring that, carry that over,